Here's a GRE word problem. Let's take a look. Working at the same constant rate, it takes 20 worker bees 5 hours to pollinate 400 plants. At the same constant rate, how many hours would it take 60 worker bees to pollinate 480 plants? And before we dive in, just a reminder that my name is Andrew and I solve GRE questions. All right, this is a classic inverse rate question. And what makes these types so hard is that we kind of have to think backwards. What do I mean by that? Well, the more bees we add to the job, the less time it takes. So for example, if we double the number of bees working, it's going to take half as long. It operates in an inverse way. So if I multiply the number of bees by 2, I divide the time by 2. So I have a process for going about this. There are other ways to do it. And if you're curious, I can do another video showing a different way. But here's the way that I'm going to do it here. I'm going to start by listing out all the variables that we have going on. So we have 20 worker bees, let's say 20 bees right there, working for 5 hours to produce 400 plants. And what I'm going to do basically is change 2 variables at a time while holding the other one constant. I want to know how long it's going to take 60 worker bees. So that is an increase, or I increase that by a factor of 3, right? 3 times as many bees. Well, if I have 3 times as many bees, it's going to take 1/3 of the time. So I need to divide the time by 3. And of course, I want to keep the number of plants constant. We can change that in a minute, but we only want to change 2 variables at a time. So 5 divided by 3 is 5/3, and you can write that as a decimal if you want to. Okay, so based on this, I know that it would take 60 bees 5/3 of an hour to pollinate 400 plants. But we want to know how long it takes to pollinate 480 plants. So we're going to keep the number of bees constant this time because we have the number of bees that we want, which is 60. Now we want to increase the number of plants to 480. Well, this is where it gets a little confusing. If I double the number of plants that I want to pollinate, I need to double the time. So the time actually corresponds directly with the amount of work because it's a constant rate, right? So if I increase or double the number of plants that I'm pollinating, I double the time. Well, what is the factor here? What does it take to go from 400 to 480? I can use my calculator for this. 480 divided by 400 is 1.2. So I'm multiplying by a factor of 1.2. And so I need to multiply the time by a factor of 1.2. And when I do that, it comes out to 2 hours. Again, there are other ways to do that. And if you want to see them, just comment on this video.